Now for a little lighthearted humor. The Great Gildersleeve. It was broadcast from 1941 to 1958 for a total of 552 episodes. It started at the show Fibber McGee and Molly. He was one of the principal characters that would come in every now and then, and McGee would work him over. And it was felt that he could maybe hold a show by himself. So they gave him a show, and it became very popular in its own right, as evidenced by the fact that it lasted for 552 shows. Hal Perry played Gildy, and other characters became very popular also. Judge Hooker, and you'll hear him on the show, and Hal Perry had the original Gildy character. Willard Waterman was the second Gildy. And now, the name of the show is Gildy's New Secretary. And so let's go on for the 1940s program of The New Secretary on The Great Gildersleeve.
The Kraft Foods Company presents Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous cheese food Velveeta. Everybody goes for Velveeta's rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor in snacks and sandwiches and in hot dishes. And hidden in that swell cheese flavor are important nutrients from milk. That's why smart homemakers keep Velveeta on hand regularly to spread or slice and to melt for grand economical hot dishes. Tomorrow, get Velveeta, the cheese food of Kraft quality. It's seldom you find the Great Gildersleeve sitting in a movie unless there's an added attraction. This evening, the added attraction is sitting in the seat right next to him.
Comfy, Adeline?
Oh, yes, and we're just in time. It's starting.
If the picture gets too exciting, Adeline, you can hold my hand.
Oh, but Throckmorton, this is a romantic picture.
Oh, well, then I'll hold your hand.
All right.
Nice title. Love is love.
I know you'll just adore Anthony Dane.
Anthony Dane? Who's he?
Who's Anthony Dane? Oh, Throckmorton.
London, 1560, at the court of Queen Bess.
I just love period movies, don't you? Where they wear costumes and all.
Well, I haven't been to anywhere they didn't. Which one's Anthony?
He hasn't come in yet.
I bet that's him.
Yes, that's him.
You're wearing silk stockings.
Doesn't Anthony walk gracefully? Look how he carries those broad shoulders.
I don't know how he does it on those spindly legs.
Shh.
Tomorrow I sail with the Queen's fleet to the New World.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Excuse me, Adeline. I'll get some popcorn.
No, Captain. I'll stand the sick boy's watch. Forsooth, tonight my thoughts are too heavy for sleep.
This is the big scene I've been waiting for, Throckmorton. Anthony's soliloquy about love in the crow's nest.
Excuse me, I'm gonna get some more popcorn.
courtyard, I know. I'll guard. Yes, she must be there. By the fountain.
Isn't Anthony wonderful?
His seams are a little crooked.
My beloved, I'm back.
You came back, my lord. You came back after 3 long years.
3 long years.
Yeah, 3 very long years.
I had to come back to hold you again like this because love is love.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, mercy, what a man.
Come on, Adeline, it's over. It's all over.
All right, but I could sit here all night.
Pardon me, miss, madam.
Well, we could go home and talk about it, and I'll make some coffee.
Let's walk by the office first, huh? Pick up some cigars. I've chewed all I had to keep awake.
Can't you just get some from Mr. Peavy's? I would love a soda.
Oh, it's pretty late, Adeline. Everything's closed now, and I'm too tired to go shopping around.
Well, if you're so tired, Throckmorton, let's call a taxi.
Taxi? I can't sit anymore. 3 long years.
You know, Throckmorton, I really shouldn't be coming up to a man's office at this hour.
Why not? A man has to have cigars.
Well, if the Queen's tenant went to the 14th with Anthony unchaperoned, then I guess I could go to the water department with you.
Yeah, come to think of it, I've never really shown you around here, have I, Adeline?
No, you haven't. Oh, wasn't Anthony wonderful? So tender with women and so tough and rough with the Indians.
Yes. Now, here's where I run the water department that you've heard so much about, Adeline. Oh, well, that's my executive-type chair behind the desk. And there's the...
Throckmorton, do you think your hair will get that distinguished steel gray at the temples? Like Anthony Dane's did after 3 years in the New World?
I've been in the New World quite a while, and it hasn't turned gray yet. But it will, Adeline, if you don't stop talking about Anthony, the Great Dane.
I'm sorry, Throckmorton. I have been neglecting you, haven't I?
No, that's all right. We'll get my cigars out of the drawer and we'll go home.
Oh, now, Throckmorton, don't be so sensitive. Tell me all about your office.
No, it's not very interesting anyway. Let's go home.
Oh, gracious. What are all of these important-looking papers?
Well, just some reports Bessie and I have to get to the mayor early in the morning.
Bessie?
Let's go.
Bessie?
And my secretary.
You know, I think I'm a little jealous of your secretary, Throckmorton. Getting to spend all day with you. I think I'd like to trade places with her.
Huh? Well, you'd probably be more efficient than Bessie. I don't think we'd get much work done.
Oh, you. Well, let's try it anyway. I'll play I'm your secretary.
Play? But Adeline.
Oh, it'll be fun, Throckmorton.
It's getting late.
Well, you sit at your desk now, and I will help you get out your report to the mayor. There. Now, where does your secretary usually sit?
Sit? Well, Bessie always sits in that chair, but in your case...
Oh, you.
What's that? Somebody's coming in.
Oh, dear.
Is that you, Gildersleeve?
Me? Oh, hello there, Mayor Terwilliger.
Gildersleeve, I saw a light, and I wondered who'd be up here at this hour.
Well, it's just me and Miss Fairchild. This is our mayor, Miss Fairchild, Mayor Terwilliger.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do? Gildersleeve, what's going on here?
What? Oh, now, Mr. Mayor.
You're a city official, and this is City Hall, and it's nearly midnight. Start explaining.
Explaining? Well, it's nothing to get upset about, Mr. Mayor. We were just working on your report.
My report?
Weren't we, Miss Fairchild?
Well, yes, we were.
Oh, well then, I apologize, Gildersleeve. I didn't suspect you'd be working late. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know you had a new secretary.
New secretary? Yes, new secretary.
Well, really, I'm...
Now, Miss Fairchild, never interrupt the mayor.
That's right. I think you've done the right thing for once, Gildersleeve. Getting rid of your old secretary.
What?
There's been lots of mistakes coming out of your office, and I know you couldn't be making all of them.
Well, I try to do my part.
What?
I mean, Bessie makes a few mistakes, but she's not a bad secretary.
Nonsense, Gildersleeve. She was grossly incompetent, and you know it.
But
I know you hated to let her go, but an executive has to be hard at times for the good of the city.
oh, yes, for the good of the city.
Why, I wouldn't even hesitate to fire you, Gildersleeve, for the good of the city.
Oh, well, we wouldn't want that to happen.
But Mayor Terwilliger...
Good evening, Miss Fairchild.
Well, I'll say good night now, and stop by in the morning when you're not so busy.
In the morning?
I always like to get acquainted with our new employees. Don't work too late. Good night.
Oh, no, we won't work. Good night.
You see, I told you this would be fun.
Gee, how do I get out of this?
Pass the toast, Marge.
Again?
Unc, what are you doing up so early?
Good morning, Leroy, Marjorie.
Hey, you are up early.
Early? Well, it's not so early. Bertie, breakfast. I'm in a little hurry.
That you, Mr. Gildersleeve? You're up early.
Oh, my goodness.
See, you are up early. What's up, Unc?
Leroy, I just have to go down to my office and take care of a few things. Eat your prunes.
Do you want some of the paper? Leroy has the comics.
No time for the paper.
I'll read the comics to you, Unc. Wow! Zip! Zowie! Take that! To be continued.
Oh, my goodness. Leroy, I have a big enough headache without that machine gun stuff.
Your eyes do look tired, Unky. Didn't you sleep well?
No. Bertie, let's hustle it up.
I get your juice. I didn't know you was getting up so early.
What was that? Oh, juice.
What did you and Miss Fairchild do last night, Unky?
Well, we went to the movies.
To the movies, not you. What'd you see?
Did you see Wolf Call?
Same thing, practically. Love is love.
Not Love is Love with Anthony Dane.
Anthony Dane, what a drip!
Oh, Unky, didn't he just thrill you?
No, I can't say that he did.
He's a drip!
He is not.
You just like him because all he does is make love, love, love.
Leroy, don't try to be smart.
He's a drip!
Unky, make him stop.
Now, Leroy, let's not have an argument. He can't help it if he's a drip.
Unky!
Here's your bacon and eggs, Mr. Gildersleeve. You sneaked up on me this morning.
Oh, thank you, Bertie.
Let me know next time you want early, and I'll have it ready for you anytime you want early.
Now, Bertie, let's not make a big thing of this. There's nothing so unusual about me getting to the office early. Leroy?
All you got to do is let Bertie know when you want breakfast early, and she'll have it ready anytime you want it early.
Fine, Bertie.
I heard you coming through here last night. I didn't think you wanted it early. How was I to know?
That's all right, Bertie.
All you's got to do is let me know anytime you want it early.
Yes, Bertie.
I'm up anyway. All you got to do is let me know anytime you want it early.
Ye gods, I'll never get up early again. Not even to save my job. Adeline thought last night was all a big joke. Why did I ever let her play secretary? Now, if I don't get Bessie out of here before the mayor shows up... Oh, she's not here yet. 9 o'clock. What a secretary. Probably the mayor's right. Maybe I should fire Bessie. No, I haven't the heart. She'll never get a job anywhere else. And besides, it was my fault. No, it was the mayor's fault for snooping around. And I like this chair. Where is that Bessie?
Good morning, Mr. Gildersleeve. You're up early.
Bessie, where have you been? It's 30 seconds after 9.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. I would have been here earlier, but I stopped outside the door to pick up the mail. Here it is.
Oh,
A travel circular.
a travel circular. Say, I could take a trip.
Oh, what did you say, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Wait a minute, Bessie. Why don't you take a trip?
Me? Well, I'm going to on my vacation. Well, I've been dying to see the Grand Canyon.
Don't take off your hat. Go see it now.
What?
Yeah, oh, the Grand Canyon's wonderful this time of year. Leave this morning, Bessie. You've been working entirely too hard. Goodbye. Have a good time.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve. Mr. Gildersleeve, are you feeling all right?
No, but I'll feel better if you go on a vacation. It's time. It'll give me time to straighten out things around here.
Well, hasn't my work been satisfactory?
Let's not go into that, Bessie. Just take your vacation immediately.
But Mr. Gildersleeve...
Bessie, please, don't argue. Vacate.
Mr. Gildersleeve, this isn't your nice way of telling me I'm through, is it?
No, Bessie. When you come back, everything will be the same.
Oh, I'm so glad, because a terrible thing happened to my girlfriend when she went on vacation. Well, when she came back, her boss had been fired.
Oh, now get going, Bessie. Here, I'll open the door. Come on.
You know what I told him, Judge?
What's that, Mr. Mayor?
The mayor. Quick, Bessie, hide in the broom closet.
But Mr. Gildersleeve, what about the Grand Canyon?
Oh, don't argue, Bessie. The Grand Canyon will wait. It always has. Hop in there.
But...
Now, don't listen to a word we say.
Gildersleeve, are you here?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Mayor Terwilliger.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Yes. Judge, what are you doing here?
I just had to come over, Gildersleeve. The mayor tells me you have a new secretary.
Yes, where is she, Gildersleeve?
Yes, well, she's in the broom I mean, she's at the Grand Canyon. No, she's out at the moment.
Oh.
She sounds like a busy little girl.
Oh, she is. We were just discussing vacations. Well, that's why I mentioned...
I hear she's very attractive, Gildy, and blonde.
Blonde? Yes.
I'm sorry she isn't here, but I must get to my office. Tell Miss... what's her name, Gildersleeve?
Well...
Fairchild, wasn't it?
Not Adeline Fairchild, your secretary?
No, shut up, you old goat.
What's this?
Nothing. Goodbye, Mr. Mayor. Drop in again sometime.
Thank you, Gildersleeve. In fact, I'll drop right back in after lunch at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
The girl's new. I feel I should familiarize her with municipal operations.
Well, she's been familiar. She might be out to lunch at 1 o'clock.
Well, have her here, Gildersleeve. If she doesn't mind working until midnight, she won't mind being in the office at 1 o'clock.
Well, Gildy, this is a juicy bit of gossip. It seems the water commissioner has a skeleton in his closet.
I have not. Come out of the closet, Bessie.
What?
Mr. Gildersleeve!
Well, Bessie.
I heard everything. You're going to fire me.
No, I'm not, Bessie. Let me explain.
I'm going home.
Great idea, Bessie. Stay home until I call you and stop crying.
Yes, stop crying, Bessie, because if you heard everything, he doesn't dare fire you ever.
Oh, I think I'll go to the Grand Canyon and jump in.
Just between us, Gildersleeve isn't going to jump in. He'll be right back. If the folks at your house go for late evening snacks, you'll naturally welcome ideas for tasty yet easy to digest sandwich fixins. Kraft's nutritious cheese food Velveeta is a natural but such light bedtime suppers. Its rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor hits the spot at any hour. And you can let the folks slice its golden goodness thick, for Velveeta is as digestible as milk itself. And it's wonderfully nutritious too. But Velveeta is more than just a snack time treat. It's a boon for main dishes too. For instance, rich, satin smooth Velveeta sauce adds a tantalizing glow to leftovers, seafood, vegetables, and egg dishes. And to make that sauce is as easy as ABC. Simply melt 1/2 pound of Velveeta in the top of your double boiler. Then stir in 1/4 cup of milk and season to taste. There you have it, a lickin' good cheese sauce that makes the simplest dish extra appetizing. Get in several extra packages of Velveeta tomorrow, or buy the big economical 2-pound loaf for top flavor, for food quality, for fine food value. Get genuine Velveeta, the cheese food of famous Kraft quality. Well, it's been a rough day for the water commissioner, and it's getting rougher. The great man has sent Bessie home until he figures out his secretary problems, and he's working on them right now under a hot towel in Floyd's barbershop.
I could have Bessie dye her hair blonde like Adeline's. No, the mayor would see through that.
What you mumbling about, Commish? Speak up, I'm getting lonesome.
Just thinking, Floyd.
I'll say you are. Got something on the mind, ain't ya?
How do you know?
A barber works pretty close to the brain, he can tell. Here, let me feel. Yup, you can feel the wheels going around. Tapaka, 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 tapaka.
All right, Floyd, I happen to have a headache. Stop the clowning.
I'm sorry, Commish, just making conversation. It's part of the service.
All the service I want is a shave, Floyd, and hurry it up.
Okay. But you ought to let me do something about those eyes, Commish. Looks like you've been working them pretty late nights.
Pretty funny.
Here, let me drop a little murine in them.
Well, that might feel pretty good.
Open the left one. There you are.
Whoop. Floyd, don't drop them from so high.
Okay. Right eye, Commish. That's it.
Well, if you're going to drop it, drop it.
Keep it open. Don't flinch.
It is open.
Okay. Bombs away.
Oh, not the whole bottle, Floyd.
Well, that one was a little worse. How'd they get in such a bad shape, Commish?
Huh?
Personally, I wouldn't stand for it, working day and night as you do down at the office.
What's this, Floyd?
Why, I even hear it takes 2 secretaries to keep up with you.
What?
One during the day and one at night.
I see Hooker's been here. Now get this straight, Floyd. I have only one secretary, and that's Bessie.
Oh, yeah? Then who was that the mayor caught you with up at the water department last night? A mermaid from your reservoir?
Floyd, Miss Fairchild and I stopped by my office to get some cigars after a movie. That's the truth.
Uh-huh.
Now, Floyd.
Couldn't you feed the mayor a better story than that, Commish? Like you was waiting for a streetcar.
It's a horrible misunderstanding, Floyd. The mayor assumed Adeline was my new secretary, and now he's coming back at 1 o'clock to have a talk with her.
Oh, yeah? What are you going to do, Commish?
Well, what would you do, Floyd?
I'd hire her.
What?
I'd like to have some classy dame like Miss Fairchild around here to sharpen scissors and stuff.
Oh, that's silly, Floyd. I can't let Bessie go. Besides, Adeline knows nothing about stenographic work.
So what? Put her on the city payroll. What you got to lose?
Only my job, that's all.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. Hey, why don't you have her come down at 1 o'clock and save your hide and let her go?
No, Floyd, that's ridiculous. Get me out of here.
Why not?
That would be gross misrepresentation. Not only that, it would be dishonest and unethical, and I won't do it. Adeline doesn't answer. Well, I'm kind of glad. I'd hate to be dishonest and unethical like that Floyd. Hello, Peavy.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. How are things with you today?
I have a splitting headache. Everything's been going wrong today, Peavy, from the time I got up this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I woke up quite pleasantly this morning to the scent of nice lilacs coming in through the window.
I didn't sleep well. I didn't feel like eating breakfast.
I seem very fond of lilacs.
Everything went wrong at the office.
So is Mrs. Peavy.
What?
Fond of lilacs.
Oh, my goodness, Peavy, we're not talking about lilacs.
I am.
All right, go ahead and talk about them.
I've been talking about them.
Peavy, I came in here with a headache, and it's getting no better fast.
Well, that's too bad, Mr. Gildersleeve. Why didn't you say so?
I did, but you were too busy talking about lilacs.
Well, I happen to like lilacs.
Okay, yes.
And so does Mrs. Peavy.
So you told me. Give me an aspirin, Peavy, and a glass of water. Make it 2 aspirin.
My, you are upset.
You'd be upset too, Peavy, if you had my troubles. You're lucky you don't have the mayor to contend with.
You're right there, Mr. Gildersleeve.
You're lucky you don't have secretary trouble.
I wouldn't say that. Sometimes I get a little envious when I hear about you fellows with your secretaries.
Oh, what have you heard, Peavy?
Druggists don't repeat everything they hear, Mr. Gildersleeve. Code of ethics, you know.
Code of ethics. No matter what you've heard, I can explain it.
You don't have to explain anything to me, Mr. Gildersleeve.
The judge has been here telling you about the trouble I've been in, hasn't he?
Well, I can't say that he has.
Yeah, Peavy, you know it. He has.
Yes, I know it, but I can't say it. Code of ethics, you know.
Code of ethics. I don't care what you've heard, Peavy. The only thing I'm worried about is what I'm going to tell the mayor at 1 o'clock.
You care for another aspirin?
No, it's too big of a problem for another aspirin. Peavy, I respect your opinions. What do you think I should do?
Now that's a question. There's an old saying, he who dances must pay the fiddler.
But Peavy, there's been no dancing and no fiddling.
Pretty sound advice. There's another one. He who plays with fire.
Oh, I give up.
Don't you want to hear the rest of it?
I know the rest of it. I've read your almanac.
What?
So long, poor Richard. Thanks for the aspirin.
All that advice, and he didn't even buy a thing. I think I'll go take an aspirin myself.
Judge, what do you mean by spreading this stuff all over town?
No, Gildy, calm down. You wouldn't be in any trouble at all if you had told the mayor the truth when you should have.
Well, I tried to, but he gave me such a good excuse I couldn't pass it up.
Now then, my advice to you is to go back and tell the mayor exactly what happened. That you stepped up to the office for a cigar right after the show.
But you know the mayor. He's very excitable, Judge. He's liable to fire me right on the spot.
Well, you're going to have to take that chance. And if you really want him to do that, you'd better make a good impression and don't wait for the mayor to come to you. You go to him.
What?
March right into his office like a little soldier and say your piece. Beard the lion in his den.
Well, I don't like the way you put it, Judge, but I'll do it. Beard the lion in his den. I wonder if the lion's been fed. Well, good afternoon. Is the mayor in?
Mr. Gildersleeve, come in.
Thank you. I have a little laryngitis. Although it's been a little damp in the water department. Is the mayor in?
I expect him back shortly. He went to lunch with a lady. The mayor was very busy this morning, cleaning house.
Cleaning house?
He's been on quite a rampage. I'm afraid we're losing some of our personnel.
Oh.
He's due at your office at 1 o'clock.
Well, yes, but
Well, Gildersleeve, there you are.
Oh yes, Mr. Mayor, here I am.
Well, this saves me the trouble of going to your office to tell you what I have to say.
Well,
I found out a few things since I talked to you last.
Well, you have? If it has anything to do with my new secretary.
It has everything to do with your new secretary. And Gildersleeve, this calls for a change in the water department. I will not tolerate people who are undependable, frivolous, and who shirk their responsibility.
That's me.
Now then, about this new blonde secretary of yours, this Miss Fairchild.
Yes.
On the way back from lunch, you know what I discovered? She was going into a movie on City Time.
To a movie?
Some ridiculous picture called Love is Love. Gildersleeve, you have to let her go. Fire her.
Fire her? Well, if you say so, Mayor. Yes.
What are you laughing at, Gildersleeve?
Nothing. Good old Anthony Dane.
We'll hear from the great Gildersleeve again very shortly. Do you know how to transform a little leftover meal into a main dish with real prestige? You do it with Kraft's smooth melting cheese food Velveeta. Simply melt Velveeta for a wonderful cheese sauce, then pour it generously over leftover ham, chicken, or veal, and serve on toast or in patty shells. What's a sparkling, flavorful way to make your meal dollars go further? Velveeta's rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor gives sandwiches an air of importance too. Serve Velveeta plain or melted in a tempting golden hot sandwich. Any way you serve Velveeta, it helps supply high-quality, complete protein and other milk nutrients. Get Velveeta in the big economical 2-pound loaf so you have plenty for snacks, sandwiches, and main dishes.
Ye gods, Bessie, I got your job back for you. Now stop daydreaming. Let's get on with the work.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. I was just thinking about my vacation at the Grand Canyon.
Vacations come in August, Bessie. Let's buckle down. Here it is nearly 5 o'clock. We'll never get these reports to the mayor.
Mr. Gildersleeve, may I make a suggestion?
Now, what is it, Bessie?
Well, why don't we come back tonight and work?
Oh, not that.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Harold Perry, Adeline Fairchild by Miss Una Merkel. The show was written by John Elliott and Andy White with music by Jack Egan. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Louise Erickson, Lillian Randolph, Earl Ross, and Richard LeGrand.
Excuse me a second, John. I'd just like to remind everyone that United States security bonds are a mighty good investment, both for our country's future and for your future. You get $4 back for every 3 you put in. Folks, buy those bonds regularly.
Thank you, Hal. This is John Wald saying good night for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products.
And me too.
Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
And now for the cast of The Great Gildersleeve. Gildy was played by Jay Summerfield. Leroy and Mayor Terwilliger were played by Andre Dixon. His niece Marjorie was played by Amy Nieves. Bertie was played by Kathy Juarez. The Queen was played by Ellie Babka. Bessie was played by Donna Amesmeyer. And here's a trooper for you. Herb Thompson played Judge Hooker, and he really is sick, unfortunately. Okay. Floyd the barber, and our Foley man was Marty McNulty. The mayor's secretary was played by Nell Brennan. The announcer was John Byhun.
Cheesy.
And last but not least, Peavy the pharmacist and the Great Dane was played by me, Tom Duggan. And now here's a few words from the director for next month, and he'll take it from here.
Hello, everyone. This is such a great turnout. I hope to see you all next month. We have 2 great shows, like always, coming to you next month. We're doing a Western, finally. We haven't done a Western in a long time. We're doing an episode from The Lone Ranger. I'm excited myself. And I'm directing it, so this will be a difficult task. The Osage Bank robbery, which first aired on December 17th, 1937, where the Lone Ranger will take on the Bruggen brothers. And then we'll do a second one from My Favorite Husband. We'll do a comedy as well. And even though it's March, we're doing one. The episode's called April Fool's Day, where Liz will play April Fool jokes on George. So that'll be a lot of fun, and that'll be humorous as well. That will be on March 22nd. So put the date in your calendar, and we hope to see you all there. So we have some few closing remarks from our director.
Special thanks has to go to the Riverside Township Board, who has been very generous and supportive all these many years, and it's been our 20th season. Ellie Babka does the script preparation. She does a fantastic job. I don't know what we would do without her. The video and audio are done by John Gelsomino and Lorenzo Cordova. Donna Amesmeyer does the publicity. And finally, thanks to all of you for coming. This makes it really worthwhile. We try very hard, and to see a nice audience like this and being so supportive and being so indulgent with the applause and everything, we just really appreciate it. Thank you so much. By the way, you can see many of our shows online at www.riversidetownshipradioplayers.com. We've got many, many of them. And also listen to Those Were the Days on Saturday afternoon from 1 to 5 on WDCB with Steve Darnall. That's all for tonight. Be with us 1 month from today on the 22nd of March, when we once again will do things that I hope will entertain you and make your evening worthwhile. Thank you very much.
And as you're leaving, don't forget to pick up your free piece of Velveeta cheese at the back door.